Oh, okay. So what was it like working with I was about to say authors, actors, and and the people that you know? Because one of the actresses you do a podcast with.
Yes,
Yeah.
my homegirl Dana. Now, me and Dana got a history. When I moved from LA to Sacramento years ago, we met in junior high school. And then we went on to go to high school together. We lived in the same neighborhood. So me and Dana are truly like brother and sister.
That's dope.
And we was in dance class together for 3 years, professional dance. We were dance partners in dance class. I'm the one picking her up, spinning her around, and we did West Side Story. We did everything. So we are like this. And she's a very talented individual. And so I published her in a couple of my books. She's an activist. She's very strong. She fights for women's rights, and I just love her to death. And before I came up with the podcast idea, I said, "Hey, D, I'm working on a new movie. You want to be in it?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well," I kind of told her what's going to happen. She goes, "Oh, okay, cool." She was with it, and then we came up with the podcast thing together because we both have unique voices, and something about, I can only say so much as a male to come across to people. Sometimes you need a female counterpart to be equal and to get your message out there. But me and Dee, we got years invested in friendship. That's my homie.
Nice.
She remembered me when I had a flat top and a jerry curl. That's how far.
Wow.
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 That's great. Yeah. It's very singular, to have those people that just go way back for you, These days,
Right.
You gotta love them, appreciate them, especially if they love you and appreciate you and respect you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're going to talk about werewolves and fun things today.
Yeah.
Here's a little wolf right for you here. Hi, Woofy Woof.
What's going on? A month later, we're back with another episode, and this is a special episode because, me and Dana did so much over the years. This guy.
He wants to be a part of the show. As always, it's, a pleasure,
How can he deny this beautiful face?
This cute little face. Oh, cute face. All right, we're filming. See you in a little bit.
And go back to when we were kids, we used to dance together. It was always comedic in classrooms and wherever we went. And then also, we did music together. We recorded an EP that we never released. That one song, You Can House Me In.
Yes, we did.
And
several songs, actually.
Sex in the AM. We had some bad jams, but
we just never did anything with it. Don't ask us why.
She had a solo project.
I think it was maybe just our hobby. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody told me to pursue my singing career, but everybody knows that that's just a hard industry to be in. And we had the connects to do it. But career and other things and family things were going on at the time. But technically we've been doing things since high school, since 1989. And here's the other crazy dog. Since we're having, a whole thing about werewolves, This will be fun for us to talk about his film that just came out this October. I reviewed it on Friday. Don't know if anybody else reviewed it. I was also part of the filming and an actress in it. But we just basically have fun with everything we do. TJ's always been very creative with his writing, and not real sure we've discussed the whole project together, but I mean, he's just very creative with what he does, and he had the poetry part involved with the movie, and for some people it's, I think, very eclectic. It's very different, so for some people they probably don't get the whole theme or process of it, but if you're in poetry and other things that kind of come together with it, it tells a good story. And the film, I felt, especially because you filmed all of it with an iPhone, right?
That's right, yeah.
And so I know Apple sometimes allows you to submit your films to Apple when you do film stuff with Apple, and it was just fun to be a part of it, and always his creative side at the end of the day. And I'll go ahead and let you talk about it.
Yeah, it was kind of fun because she knew I was shooting short films in the previous past, and there were horror films. And I was working on this one. I was like, okay, I need this, I need that. I said, you know what? Let me give Dana a call. I reached out with a text message. I said, hey, I'm making a new horror film. It's about a werewolf. She's like, LOL. So I said, I want you to be in it. She goes, oh, okay, sure, no problem. What you need me to do? I said, well, I'm going to be killing you in this movie.
Nice, right? I'm like, oh, okay, so I have like a debut and I get killed immediately.
And I said, dress like you would at work attire, because this is going to be an office scene. You're going to be the last person at work leaving, and then madness ensues. And Dana's such a snappy dresser. I got to tell you a story. My homegirl, Sabrina, she watched the film Thursday. Was it Friday night? No, Thursday night. She watched the film when it debuted. And she said she paused it on your part to check out your ensemble. She goes, that girl Dana can dress. I paused the film. I checked everything out. She goes, she even has tassels on her boots. This girl can dress.
Didn't plan the tassels. That's just,
And I remember just saying,
passion.
in the text message, wear some shoes that are loud, because in my vision, in my head, I wanted her to have the echo of tippy tap walking through the office. That's always creepy when you know something is watching you, and you're the last person at work. Kind of like walking out to your car in the garage. It's classic horror.
Yeah, and it's creepy sometimes. Excuse me, when. Sometimes you're the last person at the office and you're leaving. You just never know what your environment is. I mean, it's kind of spooky. Like, if you think of things like we do because we're creative, it's like sometimes you're kind of like, hi, I'm all alone in an office and I'm leaving by myself. And why am I here past dark? And then you think about all these times that we're living in right now. Things are just a little bit wild. And so I think it brings out crazy people because, not gonna lie, with it being Halloween, there's been a lot of stuff going on in our neighborhood for good things for the kids. But I've seen a few of the parents with some of their costumes, and I'm like, oh, okay. Hopefully you didn't scare your child, but great costume. But it was interesting to see how he put everything together, because he's a very good director at the end of the day too. Just the way the film was done, like I was shocked to see like how it all flowed and all that stuff.
Yeah, because Dana came to the set for one night only. And remember, it was freezing that night.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
It was frozen.
So everybody wearing jackets, that's real. It was freezing in that office. And she was there for one night. We shot the scene. We didn't see each other for about, over a year?
Yeah, we hadn't done any projects or anything for quite some time. I think we just took a break from everything. And then when we got together before the movie, that's when we discussed doing the podcast and doing this to begin with, which... it all ended up working out. Okay, hi. Come here. Sorry, guys. The dogs are just a little needy today. I don't know if it's the cold weather or what, but hi. Little Chunka. They're debuting in the podcast. They always do.
Yeah. This, where's our episode at? I guess it's today.
Today's their episode.
You're talking about wolves and stuff like that. Well, we want a part of this.
Part of the movie's their family. Because sometimes this one thinks he's a werewolf.
Yeah, it was freezing that night. And we shot 2 major scenes in one night. So the warehouse scene with the gentleman's killed in the warehouse, that was the same night. I shot that first. And about an hour and a half or so later, we shot the scene inside the office with the 2 ladies, Rochelle and Dana.
Okay, I get it.
Hey, man. It's not a full moon.
Are you the werewolf?
Come here.
Are you the werewolf? I think maybe you think you are. Sorry, guys. It's a little crazy today.
And it was bone chilling, freezing. Got everything done, and Dana haven't seen anything but the trailers. When I finally got the werewolf costume, I put it on to see how it fit and everything. I sent
I said don't come at me with that because I'm good. I don't want to have nightmares.
I sent her a video on IG. She was like, "Oh my god!" I think I showed you a clip when Marcel was wearing the costume in one of the scenes, and she was like,
don't be coming to my house in that costume or anywhere close to me because
it's freaky.
It is freaky, and freaky things just freak me out anyways. But it was pretty realistic.
Yeah. Because everything interacts. The mouth opens up. When you open your mouth, the mouth on the mask opens up. It was pretty creative how we had that thing made. But our experience working together, I keep it loose on the set. We laugh, we have fun. We got hot wings that night.
Yeah.
We got vegetable sticks.
It didn't take us very long. I mean, we're pretty quick at what we do, even with our podcast, with our interruptions and crazy dogs and all that stuff. But after you work together for a while, things just kind of work themselves out.
We've been doing this since we were kids, so.
Pretty much. We've known each other since we were 15?
Something like that, yeah.
Scary.
I told them flat tops and jerry curls. I was there.
And I just had big 80s hair with hairspray and scariness.
As far as the takes, I think we did like 2 outtakes. The first time I had Dana coming out, she had a scene where she was turning off the lights and closing the blinds and walking to the bathroom. The first time she looked directly into the camera while she was walking, I said, "No, Dana, you can't look into the camera." She goes, "Oh, okay, that's right." The second time she was like,
I'll just act like I'm on drugs and oblivious to what's going on.
At one time, Rochelle, the lady in the background, she was using the restroom, and it was quiet in the building. So I was filming Dana walk. You could hear the toilet flush. I go, "Oh, cut. We got to redo that again." There's a toilet flush.
Yeah, so some things you can't edit.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't. I mean, we're pretty raw, true, and
Guerrilla filming at its best.
At its best. Including my crazy dogs. Here we go again.
Put him down, gonna start barking. He's a attention whore.
Yeah, he wants to be a part of the show 24/7. That's,
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, they're being very entertaining today.
Yeah, but I remember when I released it to the press, the reviews have been great. And Dana's been getting a lot of press because I did an interview 2 weeks ago with Geek-Ass Chat. They had a whole question aimed at her, like, "I noticed one of the actresses in your film, the lady do the podcast." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I gave them the whole story about Dana and our background, how we met as kids and did everything together. And they were just like, "Wow, that is beautiful. Like, you guys are really like brother and sister."
We are. I mean, it's like I thought about after the film we did do, I was like, well, I did acting in high school. My, junior and senior year, I was in several of the theater shows. So, some people always say there's other things that we should pursue. It's like sometimes you can pursue things that you love at a different level. It doesn't always have to be high and glory and, you know, oh, I'm a superstar or a celebrity at the end of the day. It's like sometimes you make things that are good for your soul that help other people and other people enjoy. And I mean, he's getting tons of activity all over the United States at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even, is it the Geek Squad? Is that?
Geek-Ass Chat?
Geek-Ass Chat. Sorry, girls. You can, throw down on me later for not getting it right. Of course, I make everybody laugh, but I enjoy their show too. They're pretty raw and truthful too, and then I love their culture and nationality too because they are very raw about that too. But at the end of the day, it's like I think now with Instagram, YouTube, and all the different things, like you have these opportunities to make it your own and do what you want with it.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying 20 years ago, we didn't have this technology to do what we do. As minorities, people of color, now you're able to tell your own story, and you have a built-in audience to release it into the universe, and people know what's going on, whether it's your neighborhood, or if you're a talented person, if you're a content creator, the resources are there.
They're totally there. I mean, we didn't think that we would be getting the activity we're getting. And I mean, sometimes our shows are for some people and sometimes they're not. And we're not trying, we're trying to connect with whatever audience is going to enjoy what we're doing. Again, like some people may not understand the film and the movie that TJ just did, but at the end of the day, it's about creativity and, what your heart and soul wants to do. It's like nothing has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And in the African American community in regards to filming, that was suppressed for years. I mean, Deon Taylor is one that he's done amazing work and is continuing to do amazing work. you know, one of our own born Sacramento people at the end of the day, Bay Area people. And so it's good to see that it should have never not been recognized at the end of the day. It's like everybody's talent is talent. That's the way I look at it. It doesn't have to be perfection. Yes, practice makes perfect, but you know, I think some people are turned down for the wrong reasons, and sometimes, you know, you shouldn't take all the no's as a bad thing. Sometimes the no's are just other ways of opening other doors for you at the end of the day.
Critical criticism, and take it that way, because the film is different. You know, it's a noir, not so much satire, but I told the story for the angle of the protagonist, which is the actual werewolf character. He's learning throughout the film what he's becoming, what he is. He even reaches out to his father for background information. The story is deeper than it is on surface level. It's a character study of a man and father and son. And I just told it from a perspective of a werewolf. And the cool thing is, I wrote this about 10 plus years ago in a short poem that was 9 different chapters. And some consequent books that came out, and each book, I had 3 chapters in each book to tell the story. And I released it on YouTube about 1.5 years ago, and it just blew up. Everybody loved the story. And run into some complications with the movie as far as budgeting and trying to go to LA. And if you just switch the title, all of a sudden you don't have to be in LA. I can shoot it in Sacramento. I can hire friends and people that I know that are local. That cuts the budget in half. And instead of hiring a lead, I just became the lead in the film myself. I wrote the story, the treatment. So, and to use poetry was totally different. It was a risk, but people tend to like it. I'm getting a lot of good reception. And that's my background. I love doing things. We're both artsy people. And we don't do anything that's boring or normal. We do things that are very
different.
Yeah, and you know, high intelligence. You know, you have to think. You have to maybe watch the film 2 or 3 times to get the whole significant meaning. Yes, it's horror movie, but it's intelligent horror.
There's a true story behind it. Like, I like the significance of the father-son thing too.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, I think that it also emphasized, like, what are those father and son relationships? Like,
yes,
you know, what is a father not telling his son, and what are the generational things that continue to go down that, you know, things aren't discussed. Like, granted, I know it's a horror story and it's about a werewolf, and, you know, it's not super realistic. But those are things that, you know, there's things that haunt other sons and fathers at the end of the day with what they do in a family setting. And so, you know, some kids are like, well, why am I like this? Like, I need to ask my dad. And so I found it very, you know, I found it really told the story. Like, it told a story, a true story, that's how some father-son relationships are. Like, sometimes as you become an adult, when you're ready to hear certain things,
right?
You know, it's like, oh, okay, he's ready to hear this now, so I'm going to go ahead as a father and tell him the full story of what really happened. So your families protect you from certain things at the end of the day. Not necessarily always a good thing to protect you from, especially if it might harm somebody. And again, it was a horror movie, you know, it was him realizing, oh my God, I'm becoming a werewolf and I'm attacking individuals and I'm killing people. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you think about serial killer movies and stuff like that, like how they come up with a storyline, like the Dahmer. Ugh, I can't watch it, guys. Haven't watched it. Not doing it yet.
It's a tough watch.
I can't watch it. Haven't done it. But like, I think about the film producer who did that. Like, I couldn't have even filmed that movie. You know, and then just like the blood scenes and the blood rolling out on the people in your movie. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's freaky. You know, there's just very creative things, like, and then like I keep in the back of my head going, it was filmed with a phone. So
possibilities are endless. You got to just, and you know, when you're a minority, you don't get the best of everything. You know, Hollywood don't come to us. We go to Hollywood, but they still keep the door closed. For years and centuries, we just don't have the same equipment that people of non-color have. So we have to be creative. That's why blaxploitation films were so popular in the 70s. Yeah, they were cheap, they were bad acted, but hey, they're classics. You know, Shaft,
yep.
Superfly, Blackula. You know, those movies. Granted, they're trying to tell a story from our standpoint, but we use the resources we have, and we have a following and an audience that appreciate those films. And now they're cult classics. And most major films nowadays come from short scripts or short films. That's why I only make short films. And if people like it, You never know, you might get a budget one day, and I have a whole script. I just use part of it just to tell a short story. But use the resources that you have to make it work. I'm living proof that it's possible. You have a platform.
And then to have the platform where he's able to reach thousands of people all over the place.
Right.
Every one person that views it is still a fan at the end of the day. They may have liked it or not liked it, but I think most of the reviews I've seen, most people liked it. And he's just always been creative since high school at the end of the day. And I just think that don't lose a burning desire in your heart because you think you don't have the money to do it. It's like sometimes you just have to ask the right questions to the right people.
Right.
And he put this all together with friends and family technically, and then you had other people that got involved towards the end of the other portion of the filming. But I think he did a great job, and I think you should do a sequel to it. I think it would be fun. Maybe do that every October.
You're the third person that said that. So my next project is going to be a documentary. I'm going to go to New York next year, and I'm going to do a documentary with the Geek Chet about their history growing up in New York, being Puerto Rican and dealing with the politics and everything, and being female in a male-dominated world. Then after that, it's been brought to my attention several times. So yes, I'm definitely doing a sequel to What Have I Done. I'm writing a script now. I have a really cool story to continue on with the first one. And there are a lot of little tidbits in this first one. We never met the wife or my mother in the film, but she's very significant. Just like when you get married, for better or for worse, this woman stuck by her man, which is my father in the film, knowing what he is. Because he was what he was before he met her. And she accepted it. And how they dealt with it, it's pretty unique how the story is told. But hey, a woman will stick by her man's side,
As a
regardless. just don't eat my ass.
Right? Don't cut my throat.
And she made significant changes and to make sure it'll work out. Really cool story. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do another one. I'm probably gonna take a year off after I do the documentary and get back to it, because I think I created a pretty cool world. People like the black and white, they like the music, they like the aesthetic of the poetry, and it's just uniquely done. Because most most werewolf movies, the budget is spent on the transformation, the guy going all like this, and I chose poetry to tell his transformation stories and what he was doing, because each significant poem and subsequent poem, his voice changes, he becomes more menacing, and he's accepting the fact what he is. And sometimes you might kill people that you don't want to, but it's the nature of the beast, and that's another subplot in the film that you will see that carries the film and makes it even more deeper than what it on surface level. So it was really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just think from beginning to end, it told a true story to where I think it could have a sequel. You could introduce more characters,
Right.
even more werewolf characters, and get more into that part of it too. Have a werewolf den and more werewolves that are being born.
These guys are quiet today now. This is nice.
Yeah, now they're quiet. They were a menace to society a minute ago. But, at the end of the day, it's like, use your creativity. Don't let limitations such as not having celebrity status stop you from what you're doing. And keep doing what you're doing. You just never know who's watching. And like you said, there could be a person that comes out and says, hey, I want to see the rest of your script on this, and it becomes a movie. That's how it all gets started sometimes. Tyler Perry had a couple people in his theater when he first started his theater writings, and now look at him, has a full-on studio and all the movies he's created, and what an amazing man that he is, that gives back to his community and really takes care of the people that he has in his films. And at the end of the day, it's like we just take care of each other. That's what you do. And so sometimes when you get to these different levels, there's different things that start to happen that connect all the dots. And so, all these different connections in different states and different cities, everybody's been very supportive in the podcast, in the films, in the short stories we're doing, even the interviews we're doing. It's touching a lot of different people. Melissa and I that just did the last podcast will probably do another one on another topic for women's issues.
Yes, definitely.
I just find it special that you can find the uniqueness in each individual person and shine the light on that part of it. And, like I said, it may not be perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's who you are and what you created. There's movies out there that are professional movies that we've seen that we're like, oh my God, I never want to watch that again. Some Netflix movies and things that I've watched recently, there's some really great movies out there, and
Yeah.
then there's some where you're like, okay, you can tell it was poor budget, you can tell that the film was filmed in another country, and you see the lips ad-libbing, and
Yeah.
you know, so there's things that you can kind of you see once you've been in the film and industry or acting or dancing industry. It's like you have that eye for things where, you know, I kind of laugh where it's like, oh, there should be subtitles, but their mouths aren't even moving to the movie correctly. You know, at least that wasn't going on in what you filmed. I mean, it could have very well easily looked that bad if you wanted to do something like that.
Run!
Right? And so it's like you're rewinding and trying to get the mouth right. So I don't even know how they do all that in the film industry, but you can watch films sometimes that show, you know, where you're like, okay, they filmed that in what country? You can tell they're speaking a different language. The English isn't even matching their lips. You know, so there are things out there that when you have an eye to some of the things of creativity and what you do, you can, well, for me, I have that eye and I'll be like, okay, who are they talking to? Why are their mouths moving and it's not making any sense? So, you know, I think overall for it being what, second or third, you've done a few films now.
This is technically the fourth.
The fourth. So, I mean, technically I was impressed. It's not like I could wrap up something like that. I mean, I think I can be a good director because I have a good eye with things. But then I do have to say that was my scream in the movie, which was pretty good too.
First take.
First
I
take.
said, Dana, can you scream? She goes, yeah.
I can scream.
I never heard her scream before in my life. And then the scene where, you know, her moment of fame comes.
Well,
I
that-
jumped, literally jumped during filming. I'm glad I wasn't actually holding the camera. I would have shook. I was like, damn, that was impressive. Damn, good screamer here.
Right? And it's like, hey, like, I mean, I was shocked because I wasn't sure what was going to be cut, what was going to be in it.
She had
And
no
I
clue.
was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, that was pretty good.
And then
So-
also directors or future directors, you know, you don't have to be an ass on set.
No.
You don't have to talk down to people like you're the big kahuna on set. You know, treat people with respect. People will love to work for you or work with you. It's a family affair the way I look at it. You know, we treat with people with respect. They're there for their talent. Obviously, you wanted them on set for the film, but don't talk down to people. Don't degrade people. Just be a people person. You know, try to relate to your actors and actresses. And I always invite input. You know, if Dana had a suggestion, I'm like, you know, that's a good idea. Let's try that. And in the end, she said she thinks she could be a good director. I have no doubt. She can do anything she wants to do. And we're living proof, you know, talking into existence, it will manifest. And I know we inspire a lot of people. I was watching.
We do. And sometimes you don't realize who you inspire. Like I said, when I did all the dancing ministry work at my church for 11 years, you know, when I decided to step down and not do full-time ministry work, I didn't realize how many lives I actually did touch because I had taken a break of not actually physically being in the church. So when I would visit the church, it was overwhelming to me because there was so many parents and so many individuals that would come up to me like, oh my God, are you going to dance? You're so moving. You give all of us inspiration and hope. And you don't think that you're that vessel sometimes. And so, you know, this short film might actually help a young kid that's wanting to go into film or anybody that wants to be creative. It's like, you don't know who you're going to put a special place on, you know, you're going to emphasize something on someone's heart that anything's possible. I mean, we talked about a podcast for years. We really truly did. And I just couldn't put my head around it. Like originally it was called Coffee Talk, but then there were other podcasts that were out there like that. And him and I are both individuals that truly, I think, are authentic and love on people individually. Like anybody knows if you needed something, we would be there for you in a minute, you know? And so I think we've just been very authentic. And that shows in the work that you do, and it comes out that way to other people. So don't let negative input stop you from what you're doing, because we got tons of negative feedback all the time, especially when I started reading poetry for my first time again. You know, I was super insecure about what I had to do or how I had to read the poetry, and there wasn't any specific way of what I needed to do. I just needed to get my message across the way I did. And so, you know, it was never perfect, but I was shocked from other poets after I started doing my poetry, the reactions and the support that I got after that to push me even further to doing more. And I probably could have done more with my poetry, but there were other things going on, you know, with the ministry and the dancing and all that stuff. You can't stretch yourself out too thin. So I think we both learned through the process of all of this, like, don't be such a perfectionist at the end of the day. Like, nothing has to be perfect. And
It's not going to be perfect.
life isn't perfect.
Yes, nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect. And so if you change your mindset in regards to that, it's going to push you a lot further. And then again, like he said, being open to the criticism, especially in this type of industry with poetry and acting and all of the different things that are out there. At the end of the day, you get negative input. Like, look at some of the celebrities, what they truly have to deal with on their Instagram pages.
Oh
Or,
my goodness.
you know, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Kardashians, but we all know that they're famous, and everything that they do, they're watched, they're looked at, they're followed, they're paparazzi everywhere, no matter what they do. Like, if you pick your nose, you're gonna be publicized for picking your nose. Like, there's just millions of things that, you know, I would rather have this stigmatism in regards to not having to really, you know, don't get me wrong, we've been at places and everybody's like, oh, you're so and so from blah blah blah, and I'm good with that, but like,
on a global scale, I couldn't handle it.
On a global scale, I don't think I would want people following me around 24/7, cameras in your face, interrupting your family, having dinners, doing stuff that you want to do. It's like, some little things start out very small that end up becoming something very huge, but in a more heartful way. And so I think that that's truly important. Like, this is something that he's been writing and doing for years, and so it's something that he's always wanted to do. You always talked about doing documentaries, and you've always been good on stage at the end of the day too. So I think, you know, you taking the opportunity to even take that chance of being the main star in it, like, that was brave too, and took courage to do that, because you're like, I'm the writer, I'm the director, I'm going to go ahead and do this and save money so that we don't have to hire somebody and pay them to do the acting. And you'd be surprised, you can find people that just want to do stuff because they're interested in what you're doing.
And in the end, it was fun. And like I said, I try to keep it loose on the set, keep it fun. And when I released the behind the scenes footage later on, I think maybe on Thanksgiving Day, I'll have a video coming out of all the background stuff we did. It's fascinating, it's fun, but in celebrity status, I don't think we can handle that, because they eat our asses up. Because no one believes that we're like brother and sister.
No.
I get questioned all the time.
Everybody thinks we're married. Everybody thinks we have kids. Everybody thinks that we've been together since we've been out of high school. And I think it's comedy. I mean, even some people that we've had serious relationships are like, are you sure you didn't date in high school? Are you sure you didn't do this?
I think I will remember that.
I think I remember too. So it makes me kind of laugh, because I'm like, okay, let people think whatever they want. Yeah, we're having an affair and we're doing all these things behind the scenes.
Tabloids, eat our asses alive.
Entertainment Tonight, you know. Makes me laugh, because
she has posed as my wife before. I remember one time we did a book signing.
We did,
for Marcus,
because there was a fan. There was a fan and a huge poetry person that was madly in love with him, and he's like, I don't care what you have to do, you need to act like you're my wife tonight. And I was like, okay, done.
I was at the bar, she came up to me and like, oh, I was like, oh, my wife is right here. I said, damn, you're my wife.
And Nikki, your wife at the time, was not there. The kids were younger than we had that book signing, and so. Yeah, you guys, we played it off, and the lady was like, oh, you're his wife? Like, I think she was so disappointed that he was married, but I'm like, okay, dude, I got your back. I mean, there's, you know, and then we've done book signings for one of, Kevin Johnson's mother owns a bookstore here in Sacramento, very well known. She's very good with all the community stuff here in Sacramento, and we got the giggles at one of the book signings because I was holding one of our other friends, Barbara, Range, at the Brick House. Her granddaughter was actually at the book signing. I was holding her granddaughter, and so Mother Rose comes up to me and she goes, oh, your and TJ's daughter's so cute. And I'm kind of like, what? That's not my kid. And so I laughed because it was Barbara's granddaughter, and Barbara's granddaughter has been at other places, and so it's like, you just don't know what people think. And so I looked at Mother Rose and I'm like, you think TJ and I are married? She goes, you guys have been a couple for a long time. I'm like, in your head, but we're really not. And so it's so funny, because that book signing, it's like, it was pretty funny to me, because I'm like, okay, how many other people think we're married? Like, I don't think we act like a married couple. I mean, he's always been my best friend. So it's funny to me, because I think that it's funny that we come across that we're married and have children together.
Yeah. Just recently, episode 3, remember we went to the church for the awareness,
Yes, for Elevate.
We sat down. We had a booth together. We were sitting there talking. Oh, God, how do you guys know each other? Oh, we met back in high school. You guys are high school sweethearts. I'm like,
Everybody thinks we're high school sweethearts or we're married.
After a while, I just sit there and nod my head. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just let people think what they want. You know, like again, we just do the whole.
Or my favorite. You guys make a cute couple. I'm like,
it's pretty funny.
well, thanks. Okay, that's uncomfortable, but thank you.
Thank you. I have a child that I didn't know about, so.
Yeah. So, man, if you learn anything from this, we had a great time. Hadn't seen Dana in over a year. I text message. She goes, "Yeah, I do it." She came to set. We got caught up within minutes. We eating, laughing, talking about stuff, and cameras was rolling. And she didn't see the whole thing together. I kept it from her up until the release of the film this past Thursday.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I didn't see any of it. Didn't ask to see any of it because being creative like that is, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. It's film editing and. When we've even edited dance stuff, like, we filmed dancing and no, go back, do that 8 count again. It's a lot of work to do editing and filming and lights and camera and all of that stuff. But I think overall he did a great job and it was fun for us to get back together and do stuff again, just like the podcast. We'll continue to do this every first Sunday of the month. And wherever it takes us. It's like if it opens up other doors for us to do other interviews, we've already said that we do that.
Yeah.
Again, when we're doing our podcast too, if there's certain things or topics that you guys want us to relate to and, find out more information for you, or, if you even want a podcast for him to go over like storytelling and writing and, there's all kinds of stuff where we could even do just like, even doing the podcast, we could do separate little YouTubes over, how to film, how to write poetry, how to produce your own book. There's a lot of stuff that we could do, and so many people don't realize what they can do as an individual. Like I never knew that we could self-publish a book, and TJ's done tons of them at the end of the day. So if you have a story to put out there, it doesn't have to have some big producer, Amazon, book signing company behind it. Really start doing your homework because you can individually. My niece's friend she was at the New York Fashion Week, and she's a senior at UCLA, and her website is called Green World. You guys should check it out.
Yes, definitely.
She does refurbished clothes, and I just kept telling her, keep pushing forward. And here she went to Fashion Week at New York. Did she ever think that was going to happen? Absolutely not. So don't doubt what you feel in your heart that you want to do. She's created some amazing fashion. She had a special project that she did with Nike, with Billie Eilish, and who would have thought? And so she has I think over 31,000 followers. Her TikTok blows up constantly now, and she's had a huge opportunity. So just never say never. Don't quit thinking less than of yourself, and be who you are and who you're meant to be at the end of the day. And I'm still working on that. I'm going through a spiritual journey right now where I'm opening up more things for myself to follow what some of my actual dreams and realities are. And that's a tough place to be. And so self-growth is constant. Don't think, I'm too old for this. I can't do that. I'm too old. You're never too old for nothing. So who would have thought that he would have had, third or fourth film? Who would have thought we'd had a podcast? Who would think that we'd had anybody that even wants to watch it? And it's been fun because I think even friends from high school have enjoyed our podcast because we bring back a lot of memories from what we did in high school and what was given to us in high school to be where we are at the age that we are now. It should say a lot for the leadership that the people that gave us what we have today to do what we're doing. So.
Let me tell you, by not being in dance class and stuff, I wouldn't be directing films now.
No.
It gave us discipline and taught us how to be accountable for what you got to do, listen to your teacher, and take the criticism. It's only going to make you better.
Yep.
And then you grow from that, and before you know it, you look back and go, man, that journey was sweet. I had no clue where it would take me to, but it's the journey and the process that makes everything sweet.
It's like if we never would have met in high school or were dance partners for 4 years, it's like, and then built this wonderful friendship after high school. There's tons of us that all graduated from our high school that we just have these best relationships and best friend relationships that, I've always joked about someone saying if I was ever super, super sick, it's like I know TJ would be there at the hospital at the end of the day because that's the kind of friendship we have. Those are the kind of people you want in your life. And so those are the people that push you. Those are the people that give you more opportunities. And again, just stop being so afraid of being criticized. Like, no one knows your story at the end of the day. You're the one that's telling it, and no one knows what, we're pretty raw with this. It's like, we know we make mistakes when we're fumbling for words, or I don't even know what the hell I'm going to say today. What do you want to talk about? Like, at the end of the day, we're just raw and real. Like, you have to, after 50, like, you just get to the point you don't give a shit.
Because if you're fake and you're editing and trying to make everything look right, people know.
People notice.
They're like, dude, you ain't real. You're not doing that. You edit that to make yourself. Let the camera roll. Spike Lee gave the best advice. I was watching an interview with him years ago. He says, look, he looked into the camera. This is how you make a film. You grab a camera, you push record, you film, you push stop. Boom. You just made a film. Now the editing process and everything is different, but until you push play or record, you're never going to do it. You have to do it and just take the risk. And before you know it, the rewards will come. Trust me, they will come.
Just like lives. I don't always like doing lives, and I think people want me to do them more often because they think I'm funny, and I don't know that I'm a comedian, but a lot of people think I'm funny.
She's wild, y'all.
I'm
wow.
pretty funny when you get me going, and just get uncomfortable. That's all I can say, is the more uncomfortable you get, the further you're going to go, and that is even in business and in friendships and everything. Get uncomfortable. Have those uncomfortable conversations with people, because sometimes those uncomfortable conversations are that next step and that next level that you need. And so many of us are so afraid of not doing that. Like, I wouldn't have said to TJ, no, don't do this film. Like, you're not Spike Lee, you're not Deion Taylor, you're not freaking
Right.
Tyler Perry. Like, what are you thinking? Absolutely not. Like, you don't talk to people that way at the end of the day. You don't know what a person's story is. You don't know what their creativity is. You don't even know what they're going to produce at the end of the day. So, everybody's been told no 500, 600 times. But that one yes, or that one person, I mean, our first podcast, I think we had really good turnout in regards to how many people watched it. Did I even think that one person was going to watch it? I really didn't. I didn't know who was going to watch it. And now we have, I don't even know how many followers.
People are looking forward to every month us dropping another episode. So it's catching on. That's cool. And if somebody tells you no, really pay attention to the person who's telling you no. Sometimes it's jealousy.
Yep.
Oh, no, dude, that's a stupid idea, because they don't want you to do it because they're not reliving their dreams. And like Dana said, she could have said anything to me, but she goes, go for it. And she comes to me with an idea, I'm like, go for it. I would never tell her no, unless it's something harmful. Like, I'm going to jump out of a plane with a half a parachute. I'm like, well, Dana, I don't think that's a damn good idea.
You won't get me out of a plane, even if somebody thinks I want to
encourage
do that
your
as a life
friends.
experience. I'm not jumping off a plane.
Be there for them. And, stay away from the haters. They're out there, and they hate for a reason, because they're not you.
And they're not confident.
Yeah.
They're still figuring out who they are, and most people that are not confident take down other people at the end of the day.
That's
because
what they do best.
they want to make people feel less than, because they don't feel good enough about themselves. And so just quit being so afraid of the no's and just start saying yes to yourself, and you're going to really be shocked at how far and how much more further it takes you.
Yeah, let the audience be the judge. Make it, create it, put it in the universe, sit back and just wait. And the truth will come.
It
And,
does.
in the
It always
meantime,
does.
watch the film, watch it 2 or 3 times if you miss something. There's a lot of little, what do you call those, Easter eggs in the film.
Yeah, there's lots of pieces to it. Like, I even rewinded a couple spots just because I was like, wait, I missed that, because I have ADD and I'm always doing other stuff sometimes. Just gonna keep it real. But, we'll set the link up after that, and hopefully, you guys will see. There goes my phone. The link will be at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
I think you should really watch it. I think he did a great job, and we will see you guys.
Yeah, watch it, share it, tell a friend, and these guys crack me up.
My dogs are on one today. They were crazy, and now they're just kind of mellow. I think the cold weather is.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Oh, hey, man.
you got something to say?
And
They just are cuddle dogs. This
learn
time
to
of the
work
year.
with friends, learn to work with family, make it work.
Absolutely.
Keep the workplace uplifted, upbeat, and a happy place to be. And it will show in the work. When people are having fun on set, it shows.
It shows.
It shows on camera.
It really does.
with that, we're gonna get out of here, man. 'Cause these dogs are taking over the set right
Yep.
now.
It's starting to be a squirrel party in about 5 seconds because there's a couple crawling on the fence, and so
Yeah.
we know how that
Squirrels
gets.
drive these guys nuts.
They become werewolves.
We're out of here.